Okay, so thanks to all of you for being here today. I'm Jess Hagman. I'm part of the um, leadership team for the Qualitative Social Sciences and Humanities Data Interest Group of IAS Assist, and we are collaborating with our Professional Development Committee to put on this workshop series. And we are delighted today to have a presentation by Van Tran from Temple University on how QualCoder compares with ATLAS.ti, NVivo, and MAXQDA. Van is currently the Public Health and Social Sciences Librarian at Temple University. She's also been the Senior Research and Data Librarian at Harvard Kennedy School and the Open Educational Resources and Open Access Adjunct Librarian at LaGuardia. And I will add that I am a frequent sharer of Van's LibGuide about QualCoder every time I talk about it because it is amazing and it's really great that we have such an expert with us today. Before we jump in, I'm going to do a little bit of background on IASIS for those who may be interested. We're the International Association for Social Science and Information Service and Technology. We have folks from academia, government, all sorts of nonprofit and commercial organizations. Our membership is $60 a year, which gives you access to our discussion list, programming, as well as work on our committees and interest groups. And we would love to have you if you are interested. Please feel free to email me directly if you are interested at all in the QualCoder group itself, or if you are a member, I'm going to put my email in the chat here. If you join or are a member of IASIST, I can add you to our qualitative discussion list. Some work that IASIST does is currently the Data Rescue Project, working on preserving US government and public data, which I probably don't need to tell you why that's necessary, but it is a vital work that many folks in our organization and across the country are working on. We have an upcoming conference, which will be in June at the University of the West of England in Bristol. I think registration is still open. It's maybe early bird has passed, I'm not sure. I went to this conference last year and it has been one of the most interesting conferences that I've attended, so highly recommend if you can make it. Next year, our conference, I think will be in the same time frame, but will actually be virtual, so lots of opportunities for participation. We did want to let you know that this workshop is being recorded and it will be posted to the IASIS YouTube channel. You can actually see the recordings of the previous 2 workshops in our series have already been posted there. And then we do have some more workshops coming up over the rest of the year, really. So we'll have Requal, which is another open source tool. The creator, Martin Hayek, will be talking about that in June. And then we'll be picking up again in September with Christina Silver will be joining us again to talk about choosing a qualitative technology for any sort of project, qualitative or mixed methods. We'll have Paul Pivel from Calgary, I'm forgetting now, to talk about NVivo, and then Ken Yan Trung to talk about generative AI and QDA. This person actually wrote a paper and has produced a method for using AI in thematic analysis. So, so looking forward to hearing from all of you as much, and also today from Van. So I'm going to, I believe that's my last slide. Yes. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to Van.
Can you see my slides all right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to share the link to the folder that has the slides. It has the instructions for how to download and install QualCoder, and also just some demo files if you want to follow along. It doesn't really take that long to install the program now that there's an executable file. So I'm really happy that you're here and that you want to explore QualCoder, because that's what I have been trying to do this past year to understand how we can use it and how it compares with the other programs like NVivo, ATLAS, and MAXQDA. So what we're going to do today, let me get this here. All right, oops, didn't quite work. All right, so we're going to compare QualCoder to those 3 programs on 10 dimensions. And they're all going to start with C, and then we're going to share help and learning resources. Now the caveats, that's also another C, is that I am new to MAXQDA. I've learned it in order to make the comparison. I've been using NVivo and just started using ATLAS, so I'm hoping that you will contribute your knowledge and help me to fill gaps. And as you see QualCoder, you can share with us how it compares to these tools if you have been using them. Okay, so there is the overall feature. This is not comprehensive, but we usually do this when we give workshop. We say, well, here are the overall feature of these 4 programs, and this is how they code and search and filter, subset, analyze, and so forth. But it's so general, it doesn't really help. So the whole purpose of this is to really drill down and compare these tools on these 10 dimensions: the cost, installation, customization, control, project management, how you collect and what kind of content you can do, how you set up your cases or attributes, comments and links, how do you code different categories, and then conceptualizing and visualizing what you've done. And then if you want to query the data, to use crosstabs and query tools. And then if you're doing teamwork, what are the tools for that? And then the support that you get from the company or the developer in this case, and then converting to the programs if you're thinking that you can bring something into QualCoder or bring something out. So those are the 10 tests or 10 dimensions that we're going to look at. And again, these tests are just exploratory, so I also would love feedback on the 10 framework as well. So that's just a little bit more detail about the 10 frameworks. So 10C. We'll start first with some language. These programs talk differently to talk about the same thing, doing the same thing. All right, so code tree, codes, fortunately, that's same across, but MAXQDA decides to call its code tree a code system. And then the description for the code varies from it being called a description in NVivo and QualCoder to being called comment in ATLAS and MAXQDA. Another big one is what you actually select in code is called a segment in QualCoder and in MAXQDA, but it's called a quotation in ATLAS, and it's called a reference in NVivo. And by the way, these terms on the left are coming from the Rotterdam Exchange Format Initiative. So they try to get people to harmonize so that the files can be converted back and forth. And again, annotation has different names. And then the big one, case and variable. You've got case, you've got document group in ATLAS. Variable, you've got to call attribute, variable, and then code book, code system. So be mindful of that. And so when I'm doing the demonstration, just think, okay, yeah, that's what this is. When I say segment, that's quotation if you're ATLAS, and that's a reference if you're NVivo user. Okay, a few other things. Yes, the set. Basically, that's grouping of things. QualCoder doesn't really have set, but you use filter. ATLAS calls groups its set. NVivo loves set. They have dynamic set, static set, lots of different set, and MAXQDA use set. And the reason for that is set can be converted back and forth. Groups, not so much. Okay, some other languages, that's really the main one here. So that's what gets coded. And then the code book, that's the roughly definition. And for codes, you can do anything with codes. You can annotate them, you can comment, you can put memo, you can describe them, you can link them to other things. Okay, so that's the basic language to help you as we talk about these different programs. At Temple, we have a guide for qualitative data analysis, and we have a lot more resources there. So I would encourage you to take a look at our guide. And we also have a guide for QualCoder on that. And I'm interested in knowing, some of you share that you've worked with some of these programs, but we have a poll. We want to just get an idea of what program you have used already, and that will help me as I do this. So if you could please just answer the question, just one question. And the question is, which of the qualitative analysis tools have you tried or used? And you can check all that apply. Now, if you notice, I've got over 200 slides. And the reason for that is that I had intended to show you parts of these programs, but my computer couldn't handle that. So I've made slides, screenshots of these programs for you, in case you didn't know what some of these programs are. Okay, we'll just give you a chance. And while we do that, if you want to, you can install QualCoder, because you just download and click away if you're on a Windows computer, and just ignore the warning. That's fine with that. It's safe. If you're a Mac user, you've got to indicate, you have to do that security thing and say, okay. All right. Okay, are we done? All right, so it looks like a lot of you are NVivo user. We've got a few MAXQDA and some QualCoder. Okay, so that is helpful. Right. So let's share results here. Can you all see the results? Okay, great. All right. So thanks for doing that. That's helpful. All right. So NVivo user. Okay, good. Oh, that's easier. Because there are a few things that QualCoder has that's similar to NVivo. QualCoder is rather eclectic in that users like certain parts of different programs and ask the developer, so he throws it in. For example, I asked for NVivo coding and got that into the program. I asked for code co-occurrence because I like that from Atlas. Now it's in the program. Someone liked the creative coding in MAXQDA. Now we have the code organizer. So it's a fun growing program. All right, so the first topic would be cost, installation, and customization. All right, so here's the chart for you. Basically, QualCoder is free. It's open source. It will work with Windows and Mac and Linux and some other operating system. It's a desktop program, so it's nothing. You're not sending anything to the cloud. You cannot code simultaneously because it's desktop. You can enable AI and use a third party. There is Blabador, which I have been using, that is free, and it's always free. And there is the developer, and you can use the link to get to his page. You do not need an account to log in, but if you do use AI, then you're going to have an AI account. Otherwise, it's free and it's open. The most current version is 3.6. That was just February of this year. And then the other programs vary in terms of cost, of course. And the only one that has some sort of cloud collaboration without an add-on is the Atlas. And with NVivo, you know that there's a difference between Mac and Windows, but in QualCoder, it's the same. It's the same for all the different operating systems. Okay, so that's really quick about the comparison across these programs. And you can see the cost here, the difference cost. Right. The only one that is permanent license right now is the NVivo. All right, so the data structure for QualCoder, it's a SQLite database written in Python. It used to be that you needed Python to install, but no longer unless you want to do the master code, right? So it will work with Windows 10 and 11. For Mac OS, it just depends. So if you experience problem, just just post something in the issue or discussion and let us know if operating system works. Right? Installing the QualCoder program. It depends on whether you have a newer Mac processor or an older Mac. If you're on a Mac, then you'll choose the one that is appropriate. And to do that, you just need to go to the link. I have a video that shows you how to install into it. But basically, you're all going to go to this to download, and you're going to come down to where it says you've got some resources back at the bottom here. And depending on if you're a Mac or Windows, you're going to download. The difference between these two is this one operates more like a program, a regular program. So you want to do that setup exact, and then the Mac, depending on your processor. So that's you just click download and then open it up, and that's it. Windows. If you want to try out the 3.7 or the one that's in progress, then you would download the source code and you would have to follow the instructions and you would have to launch. I actually have both programs. I'm going to go ahead and launch 3.6. That is right down here. That I just downloaded and installed into my computers and I was opening. And it takes a little time to open. So don't think that it's not working. Just give it a chance and it will open. Meanwhile, I also have launched it. So using the script, I have launched it 3.7. So here it's open up in 3.7. And when you open up the project, you will see that there's the project memo, which tells you what this project is about. And that then, yes, that's fine. You just, that's okay to get the risk. It's okay. Just continue on, right? And then so this gets, if you're going to use AI, this gets sent to AI, and that helps the AI to analyze. And then we have a project summary, which tells us what is the current project, how many codes we have, and everything. And then this is the action log itself that I can copy and paste, and it keeps track of everything that I have done. So it's really a good audit trail. And in project is also where you're going to see all the settings, and we're going to go over the setting. So when we create a new program, because it's the setting is based on each project. Okay, so that one's open. Let me go to, now it's launched. You'll see it. Oh, I've got two of them. Sometimes when I open it, it opens up in two. I just closed one. It's all right. You see there's two of them. Okay. Right, now I'm just down to one. Okay, so let's start a new project. We'll just create a new project. So all you have to do, and you name it. So I'm going to call it IAS demo. Right, and I'm going to save it. It's going to save on my desktop, and it tells me right away I have a project information that tells me where it's saved. This is my path. You can change the path in your setting at date. I have no files, no cases or anything right now. I have it AI enabled, so it's running. If I go to project, these are my settings. I can add another user. So I can probably, if I wanted to, for example, have AI as a coder, anytime AI is used, I'm going to switch to AI, then I could do that. Then there's a new coder there. I can have language. There's different languages here. German, English, French, Spanish, Italian, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, and Swedish. And you can change the font. Here, the code before, that is when you run a report and you see what is coded, you can see the text before and after. So you can set it at 100 characters before or after. That gives you more of an idea of where of that text within the actual document. And if you have big files, you might cut it, splice it up so it's easier and faster to read. The show ID is all the code and the files have an ID, and you can show that, but you don't need to. And then you can set the format for transcript. And then the number of backup, you can decide how many backup you want. I think one is fine, two, it's okay. You can also check that you can back up video if you want. And if you want to enable AI, then you're going to check the AI and put in your code. I'm not going to show my code because I'm not supposed to, but it goes right down there. And that is pretty much it for the settings. Oh, the color, the style. Yes, it comes in many different colors, orange, rainbow, blue. But if you change the style, I have to actually exit and come back in to change it. So I won't do that. But I have a slide that shows the differences, right? The only setting that you in NVivo user know is the stop words. That is not actually done in setting. There's a separate file that you will then add to and put it into QualCoder if you want to add stop words. That is a little different, right? Right. So I went through this. I went through the installation for you. Yes, the master code. The master code is located in a different place. So if you want to download the master code, you follow this direction, and it's the green code, and follow the directions for downloading that. The AI assistant, if you want to enable that, you've got choices. You can use your own account. You can go to Blabador and sign up for a free account, and it doesn't store the data. And when you download any of these models, it's going to automatically download a local model onto your computer in order to minimize the amount of data that is processed and sent to AI or to whatever other service. And this is the link for Blabador. And then once you've got that key, you're going to click enable, choose your model, and put in your key to enable it, right? And then you'll write your project. That's the project I show you at the beginning there. And then it's going to download that program, the Torch program. Okay, so about the project, we created a project. The project ends in QDA. It's the location is the same as the QualCoder. It's going to say QualCoder in it, and that's where the stop file is. If you go in there, you're going to see a stop. Actually, I'm not sure. I think you have to copy it somewhere and put it in there. If you're interested in that, I can send you the link. It only stores things that you imported in. If you link to external files, it's not in the project. and then you'll get automatic backup that would have BKUP and the date, and it will override depending on how many you have. But so if you want to keep it, make sure you copy it and save it somewhere else. Unlike MAXQDA, which has a separate folder for backup, you've got to create your own folder because everything's just going to be right there, for example. And if you want to share the folder, you're going to zip it and share the folder. That's how you're going to do it. And if you're syncing it to the cloud, make sure you have it sitting in your computer when you're using it. So always make it available on your computer or download it. Right? So that's the file. And we can see the file. If you go to the IAS Assist folder that I just made, let me see. I don't seem to see it. Maybe I didn't complete it. All right, it doesn't matter because I can open another one. Let's see. Big data project file. All right, so the folder that I'm showing is this one right here. And how a project works is that you see it ends in QDA. And when you open up, it's very transparent. You can see all the data files that you have in there. You can see documents. And then there's this is your data file itself, right? And if you work with Zotero, for example, it's kind of the same kind of structure. So that's your project, and that's how open it is compared to Atlas, which hides it. Good luck trying to find it in Atlas. You won't see it. It's all very transparent, so you can see that. And that's when you open the file, you're going to click on the whole folder to open. Right. So if we go to QualCoder, back to my QualCoder, and I can open here. I can open any other file I want. I also have the option of opening up recent folder. I've done some recent folder there, but this is our new folder. We are ready to go. So we then can import files here. That's how it works with manage, and manage cases and journals and attributes and reference and import survey. Twitter data doesn't work anymore unless you can get your Excel file to look like the one that was done. It did work before. Coding is where you're going to code, and depending on what you want to code, if you have text, then it will be in text, image, and so forth. And then when you're done coding, you will come over here to see your results and analyze. And then if you want AI, you'll use the AI tab. And then there's help here for merging and keyboard shortcuts. And you can always click here to go to the online help, the wiki help, and get information from there. Okay, and then so in the project we have done this, so we're just going to go to the actual project right now, so you can see some other things right here. All right, so this is the project I have. It's a fake data project in that the transcript is fake for demonstration. So we've got, oh, it's not open. Hang on, let me open it. Coming here, I'm going to go over to my file and open the folder. Just select the entire folder and it will open up. Okay, so there it is. And it's telling me, don't worry about this. I've got a bad link. It's not a problem. I was just testing that. But if you have it, that's because it's an external link. You can manage the link. So I can click here, and then I could try to find where it should be and link it back in. But I'm actually going to delete that. So to delete files, I just go down here and click on these here. If I want to delete one item, just click delete. Or if you have multiple items, there's a trash can on each of these workspace. There's a trash can for multiple selection, and then you can select one or more. Otherwise, you can just right click, and the program works really well for right clicking. If you right click, you'll get a lot of your options. Here, just go and see wherever there is. Like I'm here, if I'm in manage, for example, I can right click. Don't have any choice here. Okay, so your files, when you import them, are going to be organized in this table, and that's how QualCoder arranges everything. Everything is arranged in table format. And so you've got your, for cases, you've got the case name and the different attributes. And for journals or like reports or memos that you write, they're freestanding. That's also in the table. And then we've got attributes. Those are just the list of variables or attributes. And then we've got references. These are just bibliographic data that's linked to literature that you have. And then we have import survey. If you are going to import surveys with qualitative data, then you can use that. And then we have the coding side, and we have the code. And when you click on a document from here, and then it will, let's see, I've got the ID on. I'm going to turn that off. That's actually too much information for me. So that's kind of odd. That should be off. Let me see. There it is, gone. All right. So how this works is once I've coded, so if I've gone to navigate, I would have to say, okay, show me files like, and I can type in, let's say I want files that are transcript. I can click that, and then it's going to show me my transcript file. That's one way to do it. I can also use the filter. It's odd. Oh, wait, the filter works down here. And this window, the filter is here. You can also make selection on the filter. I can say I want, I created these, and I can say I want these show me only file that has like, for example, which is the same, right? So you've got filters here to do that as well. So those would be my files. And then when I code, then how this is different than NVivo is that in NVivo, you would double click and then you would see your codes, right? This doesn't work this way. It's kind of like MAXQDA in that you have to activate things. So if I click here and I click down here, there isn't a code, so it's not going to show up. There's no count. So if I select all, and you can only do one at a time. You only select one at a time. But if I come down here, and I can see, there it is. There is a code right here. This one has this code, right? So that's a little different than how you might work with Atlas and NVivo, where you can just click on a code and see it. You actually have to be, when you're in this mode, you actually have to see it. But once you have it, then you can come here and then you can scroll down to see it, or you can use the arrow to go to the coded section. And you can see that the code then matches the color, and it shows up. If you hover over it, you can see the coding that's done in any memo associated with it. And you can also, if you wanted to see how many other files have been coded to this, where you would do that is that you would come here and you would show coded files. And this doesn't have any other ones in there, for example, but I could go to some other ones. So this is for viewing. And then for reporting, when you want to run it, for example, you have the filter up here, and then I can choose to run my transcript. Here one, and that's saying that they have to be transcript file, and it's only going to select transcript file. And then maybe I want all the characteristics, and I want some statistics, I want the context, then I hit run, and I'm going to get all the results. I get information about this, and this is where I can see all the files that have been coded, all the sections that have been coded, and this is quite a lot. But you can see here where the color matches. So when it's blue, I can notice that it's there. So that's my reporting and results, right? Okay, so that's the quick overview of all that. Let me go back to the slides. I'll come back to some of these things, but I wanted to just give you the quick overview. All right, so we showed you
Sorry, there's a question in the chat about
Yes,
importing survey data and
yeah,
the format for that.
sure.
I wondered if you could respond to that one.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I'm going to show you that right next, because that's actually a good way to understand how the program handles files. So I'm in this one. This is our new project. That shouldn't have anything in it. Good. We just have that one PDF. Right. Oh, let me just do it again. Create a new project. Sorry, that wasn't quite what I wanted. Assist demo. It's going to say that I have it already. It should. All right. So this is new. This shouldn't have any file. All right, there's nothing in. All right, so to do the survey, we've got example. So it's a special import. Normally, everything else is file. For survey, you want to click import survey. And then we're going to go to the IAS demo folder. In there, you'll see in your demo, there is a survey under special import. I've made one. It's called Fake Data Project Excel. And I'm going to show, this is exactly what the Excel sheet looks like. It has name at the top, but it doesn't matter what it is. and then your variables. And QualCoder only has 2 value type for attributes. It has to be numeric or character. So here we've got numeric number here, we've got character here. So the name would be my case. Whatever is in the first row is the case. And then these are all closed-ended questions, for example. These will be the demographic characteristics for the attributes. And then at the very end, I have my open-ended questions. And these are what's going to be coded. So then I have to change it to qualitative. And that's the only change that I really need to make. I could change this to numeric or character if I want to. And that's all I need to do. And then I click OK. It is that simple, right? And then I just import it in. And when I import it in, it works the same. All these programs work the same in terms of how it handles survey. There is no different. It's going to take the program, and in files, it's going to create a separate file for each of the question answer, right? There's 2 questions for each person. And then in cases, it's going to make a name for each of the person. And then I have all my attributes. This looks just like the NVivo table, and it looks just like the MAXQDA document variable as well. And then attributes, you'll see the attributes. See, these are the headers, the column headers there. And it's assigned to case. We can see that. And then it says what type, numeric or character. And then then let me see what else is different. That's it. There is no coding yet, but we can go to text. Sorry. Yes, it's a little slow. So now we have the 2 questions. The 2 questions automatically creates a code for the 2 question. And then these are the different case and the question associated with the case. These are the files, sorry. These are document files. And then this is the question. So if I go here, then I get that. Now I can auto code. It's already auto coded to first impression. If I want to code, I can create a new code, add a new code. Self-discovery would be maybe my code. I just type that code in. And then to code, you can just click on the left side and then select the item. That's one way to do it. And then click there to code. Or you can right click. You can undo that. And if you have 2, then you can select one. I undid that, but then I can select here. You have the option of adding an important mark if you want. You can mark it with a recent code. Recent code will show up. You can annotate, make comment to it. You can give it a new, make a new code there. So I can, again, I can do, there's no undo button, so I can't redo and undo. That's one of the limitation here. So this, it says this already exists because it's already there. So I can't, I'm gonna have to right click again, right? So I can maybe put another one in. I can choose, I can select there, and I can add, let's see, change, I can change code, click on a code and change the code. You have that option. I can, let's see, a question. I'm not sure what the question. All right, so that's basically coding. Coding is the same. There isn't dragging and dropping though. You've just got it to select, left click or right click over here and choose your option. Create a category. You can create a category. We can make this a characteristic as our top category. There isn't really a true hierarchy. That's a category, and then we have a new category, and that could be self-growth, personal growth, for example. That's our category. Right, that's another category. And then my code can go inside, so I can bring that in, and that's the hierarchy. And we see that better if we go to the actual, the full project. So here you'll see that if I go to the coding, I go to the code organizer, click OK, and then I can click these are, I can have all my codes, for example. You can see the entire code, and it's long because it's a huge tree, right? But you can see all my coding. It starts with, I've got questions. These are the different questions that have been coded. And then you can see the different branches also. Go back up here. So that shows me all the code. In Code Organizer, you can make changes to the code. So I may not want all that, but I could add a new category, for example. valor. Maybe that would be my characteristic, right? And that should come. I can't really see that because I've got too much going on. But you can make changes here. When you make changes here, you can undo something. Undo, remove code from category. That then comes out. I can link it back in. Make it link back in. Link code to category. I can put it back in. Representation. Representation. R. We see R. There it is. P. Categories. Oh, representation. Why don't I see that? RE. I'm sure I don't see representation. I'm not sure why I don't see that one. Maybe I need to need appearance. There we go. I'm not sure why that didn't show up in there. There we go. Okay. I'm not sure why that didn't go over there, but so, and then I can apply it and that will make the change. So if I go back to the code tree, I'll actually see it now. So that's one way, but you can also use this to start. When you first start the project, you can actually make your codes and then convert it, and it will convert over to the codes, right? And their appearance, you should be able to see that in there. There it is, okay? The other one is graph. Graph is different, graph. Graph allows you to see the items. We'll just take a part of it because that was way too much. Let's do joining group. Let's see. Growth. Let me find something. Characteristics. Okay. Just one part of it. There. Right. It's a more manageable tree. Still a big tree, but here's one part of the tree here. Right. Right. That doesn't make any change. You can move things around, put in, you can see code, media, and text. There's nothing there. You can see code, display memo. If there's any memo, you'll see it there. There's a memo here. You can, it's like, NVivo doesn't have this, but this is more like the ATLAS network kind of, and a little bit like the Max map, but a very scaled down version of it. All right. So that's that. Let me go back to the, wow. Okay, so did I answer the question about the survey, right? So that's how the survey would be structured. You're open and you would answer it. Okay, so back, we went through all this, just so you see, you've got different colors here and different language. The backup, so you know it's auto saves when you work on it, and so you don't have to worry about that. And then control, I show you the different navigation. I show you that you can, all the Microsoft or Windows command like Control H, Control V, Control C, Control X, that would work. There's very little drag and drop. Most of it just right click and choosing things. And then you're going to, in the program, you're going to just hover over these things to get, it should tell you what it is when you hover. Sometimes there's a little delay, but the information's there, and you've got keyboard shortcuts for those kind of things. And then, okay, I did show a little bit of the control. I want to show that a little bit more. So when you're over here, it's important how you name the files, because there are codes, because there is no folder, there is no set. It's all based on the attributes. So what you label at the top is how you would control it. So I could hide these columns starting with REF, for example, and that would hide. Oh, I didn't spell it right. It's very sensitive. It's case sensitive because it's a variable, right? And I could hide a bunch of these. I could hide all of them. Hide. Show column starting with. I can show age maybe. I think it's age F file. Okay, and there it is. And so you have the option of creating your case using case management tools. So you can go to your cases and you can create your cases here and give them attributes, and then you link them to the files. So here, sorry, I can click on here and it brings up this, and I can assign my case. So this is like this one, for example, would be added to that file, that field note. That's one way I could link it. I could also go to file here and under case, let me see here, under manage files. If I go to case, I can pick like this, for example, 6, and assign case. And that would be P6 because I've got P6 as my unique identifier, and that assigns it to that. So you can link your case that way. You can make cases or do it like you would in Atlas and just create variables or group names. Your variable is like a group for each of the file or the document. And so it's kind of like a proxy case. So I can have that. You don't have to. You can do both, or you can do just one way. Okay. Questions about that? All right, so I show you the trash can, the help. I see anything here. Okay, I show you the action log and manage the attribute. So the attribute, the case. Oh yeah, the annotation. That will come up and it will show in a boldface when you annotate. And then you saw the coding tree right there. It's going to be so slow here. That seems to be stalling. Okay, when that's stalling, let me show you how you can code some of the other things in the program. Let's go here and let's import some files. Actually, I'm going to go to the other one. QualCoder. Manage files. Let's import the other files we have. By the way, I'm going to delete all this. It's just too much for me. It's easier to see, so I'm just going to Control All and then delete all of this. So that's gone. And then import those other files so you can see how it imports documents and image and videos and things like that. And so all the imports are just this first button for import, and go to that folder, go to the demo, and then I'm just going to do all these files. You can import them all at the same time. Let's do all that. There we go. All right, and just wait for it to bring in. There's really no limit on file size as far as I can tell. But if you have large files, it's going to slow things up a bit. So you might want to externally link that. I can show you how that works. So there is no editor in QualCoder. It's just a basic text. So if you're working on a report or something like that, you might want to link. So if I'm writing a dissertation, for example, I'm going to have an external folder where I'm going to keep everything that I link to it. And that's really helpful, because especially if you want to transfer this or something like that, you've got to make sure that external link is with your project. And MAXQDA is actually very good about making sure that you can manage your external folder. But just remember, you need to have an external folder. And you can see that we've got the picture. You can see what the picture looks like. Right, there it is. And you can code the picture. When you come here, and you click on image, well, if you click on text, you're not going to see that because it's an image. You have to go to image, and then you see the cat. And it's very quick to do this. I'm going to add a code and put cat, right? And then I can just click on that to the left click on it, and drag and drop, and then it's coded. And you can see it if you hover over it. And that's how easy it is to code an image. Go back to the files. And then we have here some literature. And the literature, you can bring in reference. So we've got this right here. We using Zotero, because Zotero allows us to capture web pages and also contents, and maintain our sources, and it's free. So we exported the RIS file from there, and we need to do the manage reference and import it this way. You're going to click import reference right here. And we're going to go to that demo file and go to the special file, because it's a special import. It's an RIS file. That's what's exported out of Zotero as an RIS. And then I'm going to click on the RIS and bring that in. When you bring it in, you'll see that. And then if I go here, I can click on there, and let's see that, and then click on the link. And then that would link that. So when I go back to my manage files, I would see that that now has the information. It will automatically bring in just a few fields, author, title, ref, and all that. So not many. One disadvantage of, or one limitation, is that it doesn't really have a true or native view. So this one, for example, if I open this, it's going to be text. you can code a PDF, but it's not a true reader. So the image, you'll see, it's not quite, let's just take, I have to click on it. That's it. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. It just took a little while to come in. You see, it's not quite, sometimes images will not show, sometimes it will. Now I think they made it better now because they made it more in the 3.7, more like an image. But you can always click on view original file, and that will allow you to see the file itself in its original state. And that's helpful. And you can just put it side by side if you want to see it. So you can code here, or you can go and code the text of it. So it comes in that way. The AI, however, will only work on the text. It won't work on the PDF. The other files, so when you bring in an audio or a video, and it's the same, it's coding that, it's the same, it will automatically create a text file along with that for you to paste in transcription. And we do in the slide have links for transcription. You can use A-Train or NoScribe, which works really well, and it's free. And then you can just copy that into the text itself. You just copy it in after you get the transcript. Okay, and then so to code that, let me copy that in so you can see. Actually, we don't need the transcript because I'll just code the video. So we can open the video. You can view it from here, but to code, you're going to go clear that out. Okay, to code, we're going to go to code, and because it's an audio video, you have to click on audio video. Then we're going to click on that, and where you want it to start, you can press start, and where you want it to end, you're going to press end. So we just play.
A cat. He trained a cat to do the robberies. That's why they call them cat burglars. Why is no one saying anything?
Okay. Oh wait. The reason why you can't see it is because it's always behind my screen. And there we go. There. That's why you couldn't see it. Right. So once you've done that, then maybe I would click assign it to cat, or I create a new code and put afraid of cat, maybe. Right, that could be one. And I could also put I want another code there. If you go up here, you will see I put a color to it. You can change the color. I can make it purple, right? And so you can change the color if you want. If you want to, you can also manage your color coding scheme. At the back here, you can, after a while, there may be too many color. And, oh, that's odd. There we go. I might decide that I want all the category to have the same color or something like that. You can come here and make the change here, right? So that's nice. When I'm finished, I like to clean up all my color because color is informational. All right, so I'll show you how to code, and coding audio is the same as coding that video, right? And then the text itself, to code that, it's just the same as coding when we're looking at the survey import. Now, just to show you some auto coding feature, and to do this, I'm going to import some codes. So to import codes, the code can be text, or it can be a CSV file. And we have in the folder an example for you. And you just need to have the code name at the beginning, at the first column, and then description if you want to, as the okay, the code import. I'm going to do text because I have some emoji, because the language, it's written in UTF-8, so it supports any kind of symbols, including emoji. So I've just click import, I think. Let me see if it showed up here. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, let's try it again. Import. It didn't do it because I would have seen it. It would tell me in the project memo that I have it. Import. Yes, I didn't click OK. Open, I think. Yes. Now, if I go to action log, it'll tell me that I've imported it. See, the action log tells me everything that I've imported. So now if I go to coding, text, I should see all that. So all these codes were imported. and I've got some question codes already. So what I've set up my transcript so that I can autocode to these questions. So this was a structured interview. So in my file, if I go to, oops, sorry, coding file, wrong one. I just want to just see the transcript again. So these are the transcript. So I can just code all these transcripts, for example. I'm going to select all 9 of them. Oh, wait, yeah, it doesn't let me select all of them, but that's okay because I'm going to use this one right here, which is the 4th magic wand. I have to select the code first. So go back and select the question. Go to the question here. Let's do the like or identify. There's the one down here, like, why like? Okay, that's going to be my code. And that's already here. So I'm going to click here, why like? I'm not going to do it. Why like is my question code. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go up here to the 4th one. I'm going to put the start. This will do any pattern you want. And so I've put at my end of the, rather than a paragraph, which I want it to go to the end of the question. I marked up all my transcripts so that the end of the question will have this. And then I click OK. And then I want all the transcript to be, all of them, because they all have the same questions. And there it is. 9 of them were coded. You can see that it coded the why like. And if I go to the second one, it's going to also show, if I use this code, there it is. Let's change the color so you can see this better. Let's make it, change color to green. Yeah, oops, green. That's green. There we go. There we go. And then you can see it. Oh, I think I changed the wrong one. Down. Oh, I didn't change the right one. Oh, well, anyway. And you can also see all the files that have been coded to this. The show code file like. So now you see all 9 transcripts were coded there to that code. Now I can take my journal out. I can just start reading this and I can analyze all these things without even coding. I can read the text and I can go to my journal. Wait, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go to my journal and create a new journal, for example. This would be why like memo. Right? And there it is. And then this floats. So now I can take the why like, I can show the coded files. I can copy this if I wanted to into that journal that I have. Let me see, did that float? There it is. I can copy it here and start making notes and change. I could do it that way. Multiple ways of doing it. Or I can come here, I can select, and I can memo the coded text, write a memo. Reasons relates to humanity or something. I can't type, but anyway, that you get the idea. Or I can code it. That's a memo. I can annotate it and make some notes. Okay, so the annotation and memos are connected to that. All right, so that's some auto coding. There's a lot of other auto coding. I could also use the AI and go to AI and do AI coding, but we don't have time for that. But I did do some videos for you so you can take a look at how that works. So let me show you, let me go through here. So the coding image here, we show you that, and I show you how you can get a report. This seems to not be working. Let me try that. Okay, I don't know why that wasn't working, but okay. Let's go advance this quickly. It doesn't seem to work. That's okay. I'll just finish out. There are videos for you for a lot of the section there. This is just not working for me. All right, let me exit out. Let me go back to the program because that's probably, you're probably more interested in seeing some other stuff. Auto coding. Yeah, you see, there's that question also of like, if I have multiple speaker or focus group coding. So you would use that, let's go to coding. You would use that pattern. This is really flexible. You can do many things with it. So for that, I would go to this and I could say, all right, I want to start. This is this one. Oh, again, you have to create the code first. I always remember. So let's say I want PI to be my person, and you do one person at a time. So PI would be my person. And if I had P two, I would do, so I would go to this one, I would right click on it and use that fourth code, and I would put PI as the code, and then it would be to whatever I'm going to put question, because that goes to the question is what the end mark is. Right? And then I just hit OK. And then I select which one I want. And it's just going to do PI. Even if I select all of them, it should just do PI. And it found 28. There's PI. It's going to do PI. Just PI. See? It picked up where PI is. So that's how you do auto coding. But in an actual one, you would have like the speaker, the second speaker. I just didn't set up my that way because I wanted to code by question rather than by speaker. So that's auto coding in this. And let's go to a few more reports now. All right, so let's go to the main reporting is here, and I showed you that before. But you've got some other simple report like the code occurrence. Let's see. Let me get out of this one because I need to go get some data over here so you can see that better. Code text. This is the full project, so you can see the code occurrence. Code occurrence is like what you see in Atlas, but this is automatic. You can't go up here and select which codes you want. Let's see, we want like just the what they identify with and the characteristics. Or oh, actually, it's too many. We could just do a few. For example, you can select which one you want. Let's hit OK. Let's just get there. And then you can then read across. And how you would read it would be like this intersects with this. So there's 3 codes where it's been coded to Cohen, empathy, and that, or identify with. So that's a code co-occurrence. But the best way to see those is there's this code relations, which does that, where you will pick how this works is you can choose your coder, you can choose which file. So here we would want just the transcript. So this is basically it's like the NVivo filtering or the filtering that you do in the other program. So these transcript, or I just want my transcript, so I set my filter. You can also do, if you have cases, you could do gender and other. And then I want then to have, so I pick my data, then I need to pick my code, and I'm going to select the characteristic as my codes. So I need to just come down and select all the characteristic codes. There's a lot of characteristic codes because I want to see what is the relationship between these characteristics and them identifying with it. So I'll click on this code, and then I'm going to click calculate, and it's going to, I had to put the relationship. This is the relationship I want to see. And then it's asking me for this again. There, that should be fine. Now I just click and calculate. It should work. Let me see that I missed something. That's that. Overlap this coder. Oh, I forgot the files. I have to pick the files. There you go. And then I calculate. Now I have to go back to the, I think I have to go back to the filter again. Yes, this came off. Equals 1. Okay. See if that works. I think there's an issue here with the file or something. Let me just clear that. Okay. All right, I'm not sure why I'm having a problem with this. Relationship, click on my file, no attributes. It should work. I'm not sure why it's not running. Okay, all right, let's do some other simple ones. So we have code summary, where it's going to summarize. It's going to give you the top 100 words for what you've coded. So these are texts that I've coded and the top 100 words. We're running out of time, I think. So should I end, Jessica?
If you don't mind continuing, I think that's okay because we can record. Obviously, anyone who's
sure.
People need to leave, but I don't mind if you continue on.
Okay.
Wait, is that okay with you? Can you stay on to record?
Sure.
Okay,
all right.
Great.
Okay, so then we have the this code summary, and then you have some other ones as well. So we have a file summary, which gives you information about the files. And so it again tells you what words are in the files, and it gives you the attributes of the file. Then you'll have a code frequency that tells you how many times and who have coded. So I've got AI, me. AI hasn't really been involved that much because I just started putting AI in, but you can see, and it adds up. So courage, these lower subcategories, codes, will add up to the top. And so that's how you read that. And that's how many times I've applied the codes to these different sections. So you can see it that way. You then can also compare coders. If I had more than one coder, I can use coding comparison. And then there's some other ones as well. The code comparison, if you click on that, it's just going to be automatic. It's going to generate the kappa. So if you do teamwork, you then can compare the agreement between the team members. And it's also blind coding, is that you don't see what they're coding when you're coding, right? I think that's coding reports. Let me see, frequency. These things are, if you want to, if you pick you want to see how many codes have been applied to a particular, you gotta select the code. You always have to select, let me just put show. Let me see, transcript. Here we go. And click here. No codes now. It's, oh wait, I categories in that code. Yes. That might actually be too many. Let's just do a few. There's no coding in those codes. So let me try. I think should. Okay, no exact match. So I don't have any matches for those codes. So you can check to see redundant coding, for example, or some other kind of coding. All right, let's see what else we've got. Let's go back to the slides. And let's just work through. I can show you a few things in the slide. Okay, hopefully it works this time. There we go. Okay, now it's working. Okay, I'm gonna advance. No, it's stuck again. I don't know why. Let me just, maybe I'll just have to do it this way, yeah? Because it's giving me a problem the other way. I don't know why, but all right. Let's see here. I'm just gonna do it from my computer. Okay, slideshow from beginning. Okay. And I'm going to stop share for just a second so I can share it on the other screen. Okay. There, can you see it now on that screen? Yes. Yes, okay. All right, so I'm just going to advance through the slides. Sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. Okay, so we went through all these. It's pretty quick here. Let's see if I missed anything. Oh, I didn't want that. Okay, I went through all this. We went through all this. Okay, we went through the project management. Okay. Okay, and I have screen like shots, like I said, for the other program. This is ATLAS. ATLAS has a code tree here. You see the overlap with coding over there. And I guess I didn't really show that in the QualCoder. The overlapping is, oh, this is not the one I want to show you. This is the one I want to show you. The overlapping of the file. Okay, so we go to code text and we go to something like this here. Let's go find a file that has that. Let me see here. don't think this one. Let's see here. Transcript. This is very odd. This is something's kind of odd about this. I know that there's, hang on, let me search for something. Show you the overlap. Okay, there's only one there. It's not overlapping. I'm trying to show you. Sorry, I don't know why this is not. I'm on 3.7 and that could be the problem. But I should not have done that. Maybe I didn't do something in terms of the file, but I wanted to show you what the overlap would look like. Go down to, let's go one of these. Manage coding. Okay. And we go to one of these files. All right. So I've got this one. Let's just do temperance. Let's do intelligence. Okay. She's intelligence. Okay. And she is an anthropologist. She's dedicated. All right. Okay. So we've got two codes. You see the overlap? That's how it's shown here. And that's how overlap, as opposed to the other programs that either do them on the sides or like Atlas, or and then NVivo does it through that the stripes, right? Okay. So that's, and then they Atlas has separate manager for all these things, quotations, because you don't have to code in Atlas, and it has relationship and arrows, which is lacking in QualCoder. QualCoder is much more basic in terms of what it has, and then it has all these different management programs like for memos. And you saw the journal is what the memo would be. Here's the coding stripe. This is how you see multiple codes in NVivo, and then that's kind of the drilling down. And then in MAXQDA, the multiple coding, you see it this way, and then there's your coding. And MAXQDA is like QualCoder in that you activate. So whatever file you have is what you see. It isn't clicking and seeing all the codes like what we saw. So it's more like QualCoder than NVivo. And then it has the smart code where you can interact with the codes that way, where you see all the codes and interact with the code. And that's just the screenshot. There's a lot of different functions in MAXQDA, and you can just see it from the menu itself. Okay, and then I show you how to link to file, how to create, how to import the file in, and these are different formats, so you can check that out if you want to. I show you the reference manager. I show you how to import a survey. I showed you that, okay, so Atlas and MAXQDA will import the comments if you had it, but not QualCoder, but I actually can set it up to do it by just putting in terms and then auto coding. So that's one way you can do it. There is no capture for web, but you can do it through Zotero. And then there's this, it doesn't have these geo function. And that's the transcription I was talking about. You can go there and check out A-Train and NoScribe. That's the link. Case and attributes, I went over that for you. We did that with the Excel files. And then we imported that in. So I'm just going to go through these really quick. I just want to check to see if anything I missed. Know that when you import additional cases, it won't override if it's new. If it's a new case, then it's not, you get this warning, but just ignore it. And like I said, you can create documents with variable as you would with case, or you can use cases. Right? That's the difference. The matrix is a way to see it where you can come in here after you get your coding, you can code by case and then click matrix and invert it. That's one of the options. And the chart, you saw that in there. You saw that under the reports, if we go to charts, we have many charts. You can do word cloud, you can do sunburst, we can pick a category here, characteristic, and do a sunburst frequency chart, for example, and run that. So here's where you can select all the different chart is behind, it's in this screen. So you can, that's the word cloud. There, that was a small, that's very odd. That was just very small. Anyway, that's the word cloud. Okay. All right. So, and then NVivo, as you know, it has the cases, and it's very similar in how it's formatted there. And then what's different in Atlas, it does it by grouping. So you have your document, and then it creates these document group. And you would see that in QualCoder, with the table instead. And then it has the co-occurrence. You can select, and then that's the MAXQDA comment. I show you the memo, the annotation. It just has different labels in different programs, but you can see it here. I'm going through these really quick just to make sure I didn't miss anything, really. I did show you all this. Yeah, we saw that. And then the graph, you can see the graph, and you can save a graph. That's just, this is compared to the other program. What is really nice in MAXQDA that this program lack is that it you can copy different parts, but you can create this outside. You don't, and then just link to the program. I can easily create this with like OneNote or using QualCoder. And then I went through categories, and these charts, there's plenty of charts in here to show you all the differences in these programs, what they have and they don't have. So QualCoder compares really well with all the other programs, even in AI coding, for example, as well. What it lacks is just that you don't have folders, you don't have sets, and it doesn't save your sets and queries. And that could be, that's kind of maybe slowed down. Okay, so that's going through all this. I show you all that. I show the code organizer. You can actually see how it works in the video. Okay. That's MAXQDA. You can see the similarity between the two. And I show you how to code the video, and you see it for Atlas. If you're not familiar with Atlas, I also show you for NVivo, and you can see it for MAXQDA. And what is different in Atlas AI coding is that AI coding will be suggested when you code, and it goes crazy in terms of suggesting the number of codes. Spread coding is you can select a code and then automatically tell how much you want to code or to see it. And then these were the different visualization, which there isn't really nice word cloud. It's very simple. Let's go through all these. And the search, QualCoder does have reg expression for the searching, but not for the auto coding. It doesn't have this name entity recognition. But using pattern, I can do a lot with patterns. The MAXQDA has a really nice dictionary structure. In QualCoder, you would have to just make a list with or in between if you want to search, and then just put it in the auto coding, and it will search you and make your own dictionary that way, right? And it doesn't have sentiment analysis, and there's no wizards and things like that to help you. You just kind of have to go in there and do this, right? And so this will compare the AI coding. AI coding is that you can select a code, and it will suggest, will find text to match that code and suggest additional text for you to code. You can use the AI chat to ask for theme. And so these slides go over that. And there are plenty of videos here for you to watch to see how it's done and the directions in there. And this is what you get. You get a text that's selected, and it has an AI interpretation, and you can save that in the file. And this is open, where I just ask it to find text for like a concept, and it went ahead and find it. And in the chat, there's built-in prompts that you can just automatically use, like to summarize, paraphrase, or theme generation, or you can just chat with it and ask whatever questions you want. So I asked one, for example, that I was really surprised it worked. I have migration studies where people are moving from different cities. So I asked it to give me a diagram of the order, and it did it really well. And it gave me the reasons as well. So that was kind of a surprise. Then there's also a general chat. You can just ask anything, but it's not based on your data, whereas the other chat is. Right? And this is just a comparison with some of the other programs in their chat. Atlas has AI summary, it has AI coding, it has intentional coding where you put in your question, and then it does, I did the same thing, asking it for the order. It kind of generates the same kind of thing with that. And then what's different with Atlas, and it's crazy, is if you ask it to code, it will like generate hundreds of codes and takes forever. But you can chat with it like you would. You can ask it for push and pull factors in this migration study. You can, in NVivo, you can ask it to summarize. You can ask it to give you suggested child codes for a parent code, right? So, and in QualCoder, you can do that too. You can go in and select a passage and say, select themes that, for this. And this is MAXQDA. MAXQDA has quite a lot of different features. It will suggest codes. You can see it will summarize, it will paraphrase, it will explain, all that different. And then you can chat with it as well. All right. And then we have all these different visualization. I show you a few of these in the chart. These are the ones that it has. And then these are the one it doesn't have. It doesn't have all these fancy concept cloud, but these are actually really nice because they automatically turn into codes as well. You can auto code with those. It doesn't have these word tree. It doesn't have these charts that NVivo has, right? And those things. And then it doesn't have a lot of the mixed methods tools and focus tools that MAXQDA has, but I don't really ever use these things. So, but the graph, I show you the graph here, we went to that. You can see your structure. This is in ATLAS, and then this is in MAXQDA. I actually don't like the one in MAXQDA. I think ATLAS has got the best network because you can't like reorganize these things. It doesn't, look at that. When you've got more than 3 levels, it's just kind of a mess and you can't really clean it up. And this is hand done. I mean, you can build things like you would in ATLAS. It just takes time because you've got to put in all these little pieces. You would insert them in. There's option to insert text. There's an option to insert connectors and things like that. It's not automatic, but it allows you to pull all your data together. This was done in ATLAS. You see how nice that is. You can lay things through, tell a story of somebody's migration path, and then you can drill down, give the information along the way. And these are more of the, getting information about frequency. And I show you some of these reports. And these are all these, so this slide go through, show you all the main reports. And then each one of these show you each of the reports so you can see what it looks like. And we went through some of these report for you already. And then and then that in contrast with ATLAS, it also has code. ATLAS, remember, the document is basically your case. So that's what you're doing. You're seeing the cases and the matrix coding in NVivo, where you're going to select the gender and all that, and then your codes. And then and just like in QualCoder, you're going to be able to then see the underlying text. So when you create a matrix, or you can see that in QualCoder as well. And these are the tools in ATLAS, and those are the tools in MAXQDA. And then you can see all these different charts and things that MAXQDA has. And you can do the basic one in QualCoder. You just don't have the fancy colors and things like that. It's just a bare bone result. And then this is the collaboration. Remember, only ATLAS has this web that you can do simultaneously, but it's very minimal. There's different features. Otherwise, you have to buy cloud collaboration with all these tools. The last thing, that's the coder agreement. You can check that out. And in ATLAS, it makes it one of the users. There's difference. Lastly, I want to talk about conversion, because even though they're saying they're trying to comply with the conversion, and it's going to be when you export, all these programs have a way for you to export in that format and to import in that format. But there's a lot of missing data and things don't import. And these slides tell you what is supported and what is not for each of these programs. So basically codes and coding will import, but cases and document variables not so well. MAXQDA, what's supported and what's not. The worst one, I think, is NVivo. A lot of what NVivo you create in NVivo will not be supported when you export it out. So just know that if you're planning to import or export. One last thing. A lot of these programs are subscription based, and you lose your ability to read. However, MAXQDA does have a free reader for you. The ATLAS has a program you can just open to do a few coding, but it's not a true reader, and NVivo doesn't have any reader. Finally, so why use QualCoder? It's free. It's open source, no vendor lock-in. There's a good community. Developer is very responsive. I ask for features and he gets it to me like the next day, basically. He even watches my workshops and then make changes that he sees I'm having a problem with. And it has all the essential QDA functions. But you may not want to if you have many collaborators and want to work simultaneously, you have large amount of data, you have many files and cases, or you're concerned about the data security, or you're doing intensive literature review because it doesn't really have a true PDF reader. It's better now than it was, but just be mindful of that. And if you have social media projects, right, you're going to first of all mine that somehow and get it in. And be very careful about that. And if you're uncomfortable with the error messages and bugs that happens, or if you're having complex mix analysis, and if you have money, then it might be worthwhile to get some of the perpetual or long-term license. Okay, and then we've got some resources for you. Temple University Libraries is a member of the Qualitative Data Repository, and it has great guidance. If you're working with qualitative data, there's example informed consent, there's data there. And these are the help resources for QualCoder, and the developer has made a great tool going through each of the feature. This is 3.5, a lot of it's still relevant. And we have 10 workshop recordings from our Spring 25 series, and this walked you through the whole process from beginning to end with demonstrating with QualCoder. These are resources for the other 3 programs. Okay, so we're done, and I'm past my time, but if anybody's still around, I'm happy to take questions, or if you have anything to share, I would welcome your feedback, your experience working with the program. Yeah, that was fast.
That was amazing. I can't wait to go back to these slides and yeah, like look at the comparisons, and super helpful. It's going to help me a lot. There is a question in the chat about Michael Beckstrand had asked about if there's a way to export a marked up document from QualCoder. I imagine that's like you've got an interview and it's got the transcripts marked on it.
Yeah, so you can export as an HTML, and it looks just like you saw when we on the screen. You can also print. A lot of these programs require you to print as a PDF, and then you will see the side, the thing on the sides. So that's how it works. You can either print it with the markings or export HTML.
And then I'm not sure if HD's still here, but they had asked about having done this whole comparison and, looking at all these tools, which one would you say is your go-to for a qualitative project?
It's funny because they're part of it I like. I mean, each one, there's aspect of it. It's hard to say. I mean, I was an NVivo for a long time, but because I'm a minimalist, so I kind of like that. But NVivo hasn't done anything to their program since 11, really, seriously, because I have 11. And there's so many things that I would like. I have a lot of fun with QualCoder, actually, because QualCoder requires you to be a little inventive, right? Basically, I compare MAXQDA and QualCoder to you having a knife and you're figuring many ways to use a knife, as opposed to going to a full stock kitchen with like 50 different knives and an avocado cutter, right? And you have to learn where all the things are. But once you learn where all the things are, it's very useful, right? So I think it really comes down to the scope of what you're wanting to do. I was really wanting to explore QualCoder for students because a lot of students don't have time. There's only a semester. They don't want to spend the money. They've only got a few interviews. Most of the students I work with have not gone. I had to manage NVivo for a project that was 750 interviews. So without a program to manage that many interviews, and that was really the primary reason, project management. And I tried to stress that to the students. It's very simple. It's not complicated. Qualitative, you do it every day. You read and write and summarize every day, but it's the management. It's being systematic. It's documenting your steps. It's all that. It's really what's really important. And the program help you to do that. And QualCoder doesn't have that nice, doesn't have a lot of the management features. That's the back end of it, but it does the basic. So I can't really say I have any favorite. I just like parts. And then I try to make that program do the part I like, I guess.
Thanks so much. Wei, do you want to maybe stop the recording, and then if